Hello and welcome into another fantasy hockey video. Today I have my predictions for who will finish inside the top 10 rankings for goalies at the end of the fantasy hockey season. Before I get into that though, I'd like to thank the support the channel's been getting. Guys have been killing the subscribe button lately. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, consider it. I have like 12, 13 other pre-draft videos that can help you draft. Check them out, like the videos, all that stuff. And let's get into it though. First, let's go over the criteria. You need to have two of these three things to be in the top 10, in my opinion, and you need to have them in abundance. Starts. If you start a lot, you can make the top 10 if you have the skill or the team around you. If you have the skill and you have the team, you should be good. You got the team and you got the starts, you should be good, even if you're not the best goalie in the world, to get into the top 10 of a points league rankings top 10. And the first guy has two of them. That would be Mackenzie Blackwood, who gets the starts and has the skill, in my opinion. Was a top 10 goalie in most point formats last year. 22 wins, 14 losses last year. He played in 47 games, which ranked 11th amongst starters in the league. Crawford is just retired, and there's no real clear backup who's going to take a lot of starts from Blackwood. So I expect Blackwood to start a vast majority of the games. He might be in the top 5. I think he will probably end up in the top 5 for starts in the league, just due to his age and being able to recover better than some of the older keepers, along with the fact they don't have a clear backup option. And Mackenzie Blackwood, I expect to finish around the 10 mark and in the top 10. We then go into number 9, which is Ilya Samsonov, another young goalie, which is kind of a theme here. He had a .913 save percentage in his first year in Washington, and what they saw, they liked enough to say goodbye to Braden Holtby. They brought in Lundqvist to be a backup. Lundqvist, sadly, though, has that heart issue. He will not be playing, which means Vitek Vanacek is most likely the backup, and he probably won't be taking too many starts from Ilya Samsonov. Samsonov is playing on a Capitals team that wins a lot in the regular season typically, and assuming there's no regression there, even if there is some regression in the Caps team, which I think there will be, the starts and the skill of Ilya Samsonov, along with the Capitals probably winning a decent amount of games, should be enough for Samsonov to crack the top 10. We then go into Robin Lehner. Robin Lehner's had a weird career, and last year he was a great goalie despite being on two different teams and not starting the most out of everyone in the league. But in the playoffs, Robin Lehner was very good and is clearly now the number one for Vegas after starting every playoff game over Fleury. Fleury, I think, will fade. I don't think Fleury is as good as he used to be, and I think a full year as starter in Vegas should give Robin Lehner a good shot at the top 10. The Pacific Division is really a three-team division with Colorado, St. Louis, and Vegas, and outside of that, there's a lot of teams that Vegas should beat consistently, and along with the fact that they compete with the other two teams, you're looking at a team in Vegas that may just win the Pacific Division. They just got Alex Pietrangelo, which bolsters the blue line, and I think you can expect Robin Lehner, with the majority of starts in Vegas, to finish in the top 10. We then move into Carey Price. Carey Price is on a Canadian team that has a shot to win a wide-open North Division. The Canadians, from what I've been hearing, and from like media and all that, are expected to do a lot better than they did last year, and I can agree with that. A lot of young players who should come along, like Suzuki, Kotkaniemi, maybe that young defender Romanov. They signed Jake Allen, which means they have a better backup option, which should give Price a little more rest. Price should still get the majority of the starts, though. I mean, he was in his early 30s last year and tied for the league lead in starts with Hellebuyck with 58. With more rest at age 32, I believe Price will play better when he plays, and I believe with the Canadians probably being a top 3 in the North Division, they should have Carey Price finishing in the top 10. He finished in the top 10 last year, and the fact they got better, I think he also finishes in the top 10 this year. We then go to my sixth guy, which is Tristan Jarry, which I don't think a lot of people will have this guy as high as I do, but I think the Penguins should be a pretty good team this year, considering if they can stay fully healthy, which they were not able to last year, but it looks as though all their big guys are going to be fully healthy. They lost like around 20 games from Letang, Malkin, and Crosby each, and they lost Gensel for most of the season. They added Kasperi Kapanen, who should be pretty decent, and I think they just have a lot of faith in this young goalie Jarry, who ranked in the top 10 for save percentage last year. And there's just not a lot of competition at the backup position either from Casey DeSmith. They let Matt Murray go because they like Tristan Jarry that much. He's only 24, so he doesn't need a lot of rest. I think Jarry finds himself finishing around the 6th spot this year in the fantasy hockey rankings, and I expect the Penguins to be better than some people expect. I see some people saying they're not going to make the playoffs, and I think people should not sleep on a Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin-led team, even if they are a little bit older. We then move into my 5th option here, which is Jordan Binnington. Maybe the best team in the Pacific Division. They're in that Vegas and Colorado tier. Colorado does not have a keeper in this top 5 for the pure fact I think they're going to split that net a lot more even than St. Louis or Vegas will, which is why their starters are here and Grubauer is not. Grubauer is probably in the next 5 guys outside the top 10. They got rid of Jake Allen, St. Louis that is, and they have an unproven backup in Ville Husso, which I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Binnington last year was 3rd in wins, 6th in games played, which that might go up. 912 save percentage, which is good enough if you're playing in points leagues to justify taking Binnington, who's just in a great situation and is a solid goalie in his own right. We then moved to number 4. Connor Hellebuyck finished 1st in most formats last year, if not all. I am finishing 4th. He's a top 3 goalie talent-wise, but I think the Jets are probably in the bottom 2-3 teams of that North Division. He starts a ton, which is why he will be in the top 5, and he's good. So he's got the starts and the talent. I just don't believe in the team around him to get enough wins to propel him into the top 3 this year, which I could be wrong on that. He did it last year. He could probably do it again, but I am finishing at 4th because I just like the other 3 guys above him a little bit more to finish there. Just not a playoff team, and but he's still just that good and starts enough to the point he should be top 4. And their backup, Brossoit, which hopefully I'm pronouncing that French last name right as well, won't challenge him. He's not that great. We then move into my 3rd option, which is Frederik Anderson, who, in my opinion, the Maple Leafs are my favorite to win the North Division. Anderson historically starts a ton. Jack Campbell may cut into that a little bit more than usual, but still Anderson is going to get a ton of starts. He's a solid goalie. He's middle of the pack, but he's on a great team, and he starts a lot. And wins and starts, Anderson should be leading both. Contract year, he'll be looking to make some money, which I'm always willing to bet on a guy who's going into a contract year. I expect his numbers to improve because of that, him to secure the bag, and for you to have a top 3 fantasy goalie, top 5 minimum with Frederik Anderson if you draft him in points leagues. We then move into my 2nd option, which is Carter Hart. Carter Hart is on a Philadelphia team that was really hot last year, and I expect that to continue. I like what I see out of Philadelphia. They are right now my favorites to win the East Division, which has my Boston Bruins in it, actually. Hart is 21 years old and should only improve, along with the fact that Brian Elliott is an older backup who is very inconsistent. Hart should be in the top 5 for starts this year. Last year he went 24-13-1, a 914 save percentage. There's just not much competition from Brian Elliott. He should get a lot of starts. He's a young goalie. He's extremely talented. He's a prodigy in a lot of people's minds, and he is in mine, and I think he's top 5 this year, but I'm going to put him at the number 2 spot because I'm that high on Carter Hart. We then go into my number 1, which, this is a pretty boring pick, but it's, what I think is going to happen. I think it's Andrei Vasilevskiy. I think the Lightning are clearly the best team in that Central Division, even without Kucherov. There's no backup competition, and he's arguably the best goalie in the league. So I think this is just a pretty obvious selection, but and the selection I'm going to make, and the selection you should make if you can get Vasilevskiy. I think he does go a little earlier than I'd like to take goalies, but if you can guarantee yourself a number 1 goalie, this is the year with Andrei Vasilevskiy as the first goalie off the board. Those are my predictions. As I said, I don't expect to be right with all of these. I'm probably going to have 4 of these guys probably won't finish in the top 10 just because the NHL is such an unpredictable league, and I will be revisiting this at the end of the year. So you have that to look forward to. We can laugh at myself in the comments at the end of the year when I look back and see how wrong I was. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Subscribe and like the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.